Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the latest edition of Across the Cavs on October 18th. We are 7 days away from real Cavs basketball to open their season in Brooklyn on Wednesday the 25th. Today's guest, he played for the Cavs back in the 2010s, a three-year NBA career featuring a triple-double during his time with the Raptors, an incredible college career at the University of Tulsa, and a very impressive international run playing with Nigeria that we will get to. Ben Uzoh, a pleasure to welcome you on. We are going to talk all about his career, his basketball life, and what's next after this on Network 216. All right, welcome back, folks. Zach Weiss here with Ben Uzoh. And Ben, first off, a pleasure to welcome you on. Appreciate your time to speak today and very excited to talk about your basketball career. And lucky that career did span along with the Cleveland Cavaliers at one juncture as well.
I appreciate you having me. It's a pleasure.
So we'll start out, we'll go early years, Ben. You played a long basketball career. Now you're 35, played professionally nearly 14, 15 years. But how'd you first get into the game? And who were your favorites when you were growing up?
I first started playing probably every kid I feel like has a Fisher-Price hoop that they got for Christmas and got a basketball as a gift, whether it's birthday or, you know, um, when they were younger. So that was when I started playing and, just playing in the backyard, playing on at the parks, playing on the patios of apartments, and then eventually got in the YMCA, moved to San Antonio. But when I moved to San Antonio is when I started picking up the game seriously. Started playing in youth leagues, and then youth league transition into, just middle school basketball, then high school basketball, then so on and so forth. But just different friends, different peers around the neighborhood would, they would see me playing on the street or around the parks, and they just saw that I could shoot from far, and that's kind of how it started. You can shoot pretty far. You can shoot farther than most of my other friends. And, I was a new kid in San Antonio, coming from Houston, so um, that was kind of how it all came together. But I was inspired by hearing and watching Hakeem Olajuwon in Houston, Texas, when I was around 6'7". Won a championship in '94. They repeated it in '95. And him being Nigerian, myself being Nigerian, really catapulted my interest, my understanding of what success was. And that was when I dreamt to start aspiring to play and be an NBA player. So that was kind of like how it all came together and began for me.
And then you went to the University of Tulsa. When you really lit it up, you were just shy of 2,000 career points. You were tied at the time you graduated for most games played. You're the only one in Tulsa history to be top 10 in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. You played the 4-year career. What were some of your favorite moments? And obviously, I'm sure there were plenty from your time with Tulsa, Ben.
Yeah, like you said, I had a lot of success at Tulsa. It was a great business move. I had bigger schools, but Tulsa was his first school and probably the only school at that time that was going to allow me to transition and play for point guard full time. But my favorite moment was against. It was probably in a loss. It was probably in a defeat, but it solidified me as a potential NBA guy, prospect. And it came my senior year, believe it or not. It was against Memphis. Memphis at the time, they had like a top 5 recruiting class year after year. John Calipari was their coach, who's now at the University of Kentucky. Um, they put together a good team that he eventually left my senior year, but he left over to Josh Pastner. And I had a game of 20 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds. So I was 2 rebounds shy of a triple-double. But that game was a combined with the body of work that I put together the previous 3 years, was a game that solidified me as a bona fide NBA prospect. So that's probably my favorite moment, because I remember, just different meaningful moments, pivotal those moments during that game that I was like, wow, I could really do this, and probably prove to myself as well.
And you did end up doing that. You do end up in the league, starting out with the New Jersey Nets, a team that, of course, now plays in Brooklyn. So, do you remember much? I have it pulled up here. Do you remember much about your first game and the day you scored your first points in the NBA?
Yeah, I think it was against Philadelphia.
Uh huh.
Uh, it was. I think I had 4 points.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a couple buckets against Iguodala, Evans, Turner. Um, yeah, but playing against Philadelphia and Philly on the road, had 4 points. Maybe I don't know if I had any other assists or rebounds, but yeah, any opportunity that I got my rookie year, I was definitely trying to play hard and just try to add value and try to get somebody's attention. Being a rookie in the NBA is not a tall. It's a tall task if you're coming in undrafted, and you have to do things the right way. You're getting hazed. You got a lot of rules. You got a lot of rookie treatment that you kind of get that you just gotta adjust to on the fly. But yeah, that was a good moment, and I definitely remember that game.
You had a couple of layups, and Tony Batiste made the 12th three of his career in the waning moments that day. I think that to me is a surprise. I talked about Tony Batiste before. He was on the Cavs very early in his career, but kind of funny. You never know. You go back and check the box score. Lou Williams hit a three. You had a layup, and then I think Tony made a three. You got your second layup, and then the game was over. But
Yeah.
with that said, Ben, who were your vets that first season that kind of took you under their wing and showed you NBA life?
Stephen Graham was a big part of my rookie year and helped me understand different things on and off the court. He's now coaching with the Nuggets, so he got a championship this past year. So shout out to Steve. He was a good big brother to me at that time. I say mainly him, for the most part him. Jordan Farmar
Yep.
was on that team. He was pretty. He was a good leader for me at the time as well. Um, Devin Harris as well. So those point guards and then Stephen Graham.
I mean, like Stephen Graham, another former Cav. Everybody, man, it's a small world. Everything is tied in with those Cavs. But happy for Stephen as well. Cool to see him get that ring. And so we transition into year two. Ben, you'd started with the Nets, didn't make it into year two, but then for 9 days, you were part of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and funnily enough, your Cavs intro was also, or the game where you scored was also against the Sixers. So while it was very brief, and we'll talk a little bit about your debut as well, what do you remember? I know it's 10 days, you're on a 10-day, it's very different than kind of having a contract and going as you do, but what do you remember about that brief stint with the Cavs?
Man, I remember it was a lockout period, and I remember when the lockout just lifted. I had a unique journey to get to Cleveland. I had a tryout, I had a workout, private workout, veteran workout that I really destroyed in Cleveland, and they wanted to see me in the G League and play in the G League, and make sure my cardio was up to par. And I'm like, man, I'm in shape. Y'all saw what I did. I'm beating everybody in the sprints. I knew the kind of work that I had put in that summer, but yeah, they still wanted me to go to the G League, and so I picked up on waiver wires by RGV. I went down to RGV, and in the first 10 games, we were like 10-0 or 9-1. And I had risen to the number one prospect in the whole G League. And, Cleveland knew what I was doing amongst other teams. So they signed me to the 10-day from the RGV. And it was just a really good full circle moment because, I just saw their front office, their coaches, and, a lot of the guys that I ended up playing with on that 10-day, I saw them just a couple of weeks before. So, I just remember that it was a good opportunity. I seized it. I did what I could with what I could control, And in that game, I don't remember everything to be specific, but it just, yeah, like you said, it just so happened to be against the Sixers again.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I remember.
So my favorite nugget of this, you've shared the court with 5 different players. So my only question, then we'll keep going. Do you remember anybody that you shared the court with on that day against the Sixers? 5 different guys, 6 people in while
on
you
the
were
Cavs,
in.
on the Cavs, or
Yeah.
the Sixers, on the Cavs, on the Cavs and the Sixers.
Just the Cavs.
Christian Ayinga.
Yeah.
Samardo Samuels.
No, actually, not in that, not in the first game.
Not in that game.
You're not in that game. I like Samardo a lot.
Was Ryan Hollins on that?
He was. Ryan was your 5.
I saw Ryan. I just saw Ryan a couple of days ago in Houston last week. So Ryan was the 5. Luke Herringody.
Yeah, the great Luke Herringody. Loved watching him shoot. Wish he had a little more time in the league, but loved his stroke.
That's 3. I need 2 more guys. Alonzo G.
The one and only. Well, actually, wait, that's it. You got him. That's everybody.
Okay.
I think you said Alonzo. Yeah, I got that right. Yeah, it was Alonzo, Christian, Luke, and Ryan. Yeah, boom.
Yeah.
Once you play, man, it all sticks. Once you're in, you're involved. If you're in that moment, just right, everything sticks. While for some, when you remember watching a game on TV, you may have to recall and really dig. But right, you're playing it, you're there, you're going through the league. These are the memories of your life, the best moments, right? You don't really even have to dig. Like, it's there, you remember it, and you experienced it, so it's front of mind.
Right. You have a lot of moments. Some things. Some things you remember easier. Some things don't come to you as quickly. But yeah, hopefully, I'm not as saturated, at the age of 35 yet to not remember certain moments. And so, yeah.
And then after the time with the Cavs is over, you ended up on the Raptors, where as the season went on, you worked your way into the starting lineup. And then on April 26, 2012, you did what you fell just short of at Tulsa, where you picked up your triple-double, 12, 11, 12, 4 steals and a block. You ended the season and snapped the skid by beating your former team, the Nets, in Canada by 31 points. What do you remember about your triple-double day? And what was it like when the game actually ended? You saw the official stats if you hadn't known yet, and you ended the season putting up something that many, many individuals never really do at the professional level and getting to 10-10-10.
Man, I remember a lot, that I haven't really told this side of the story. There's a lot of narratives out there that, people from their perspective, they understand it. Before the game, I was really locked in. At that time, I was writing down my thoughts, my feelings, and my actions with the sports doctor that to continue to give me a mental edge. And so before the game, I wrote down triple-double because at that time, the way I understood my game, being very self-aware of myself, was that I was a stat sheet filler, the guy that could do a lot of things, jack of all trades. Even while I was at Tulsa, like you said, I fell short. So I knew I was going to get the minutes that night, and so I knew I had more opportunities to be as impactful from a threat of being a triple-double. So, again, I was a guy that was a connector, a facilitator. I could score the ball really well in Tulsa. I sacrificed while still dealing with a unique sense of uneasiness within my body that I found out later. But yeah, I just I just laid it out on the line that night, and it worked out. So I remember like in the fourth quarter, Dwayne Casey comes to me. We were in one of our timeouts, like maybe at the 6 or 8 minute mark or 6 minute mark. I had already got like double-digit rebounds, assists. They was like, "Hey," I think Casey and DeMar was like, "Hey, Uzoh, you right there, man. You got like triple-double watch. You got 4, like 11 and 9 or something crazy. And I'm like, okay, say less. And, my teammates were just, it came organic, but they would let me know before the game was over. And, I got it before the game was over, like 2 minutes left in the game. I had already got it. And the fashion in which I got it, Nets had to call a timeout. But that game was personal. Former team. I had never been in a situation like that in high school, college, where I'm playing against former teammates, former coaching staff, and I felt I did a good enough job to return to New Jersey the following season. They thought otherwise, so I had the game circled as soon as I got, on to Toronto, and I got further into my situation there. So it was personal for me, and after the game, um, before the game, I didn't say anything to the former guys. I didn't say anything to Avery. I just kept it business, and then after the game, there was a lot of love. D. Will came up to me. Darren Williams came up to me. He's like, man, I don't even have one of those. And at that time, he never recorded a triple double, and so that was pretty cool. That put things in perspective to me. I had what I had done. At that level, it just, again, it's not something that. That was my moment to say that I belong, that, I did it, obviously in my fashion, in my way. And it's dope to always be able to hang my hat on something like that.